Want to go to Mr. Primack for just a moment, because we heard some news late yesterday that this hearing that was coming up this Monday about some of big tech and the idea of breaking up big tech has maybe been pushed off for some period of time. Is there really any implication, or is this just going to be a drama in theater that we'll see a week or two later?
I think it's the latter. I mean, I think Zuckerberg and Bezos wake up and it's kind of like a kid who's got a big test and suddenly they look outside and it's snowing. So they get a delay, which feels good at first, but now you have to worry about it for another couple of weeks. Yeah, we're hearing kind of the week of August 3rd is when this will actually happen. And it'll be the same hearing, just delayed because of the memorial service for John Lewis.
Dan Ives, does it matter to the stock market when you look at what's happened here? When you look at what happened, it's what's happened. The sentiment change, even in the past 24 hours. I don't know if it's really a sentiment change. I don't know what do you attribute the downdraft on some of these stocks right now?
Yeah, a bit of a risk-off trade, especially in tech and FANG names. I think really the linchpin. You look how Microsoft reacted, post-quarter, even though the massive results, sell-off. Then you look at Tesla. Those are two key barometers. I think you're seeing a risk-off in tech and FANG names into next week. And look, these stocks have had massive runs. I still view it as a speed bump. Our view, tech stocks, FANG names a year from now are 20, 30% higher, despite some of the white knuckles that we're seeing.
So just two things here, and this is to Dan Ives, and we'll get back to Dan Primack, the two Dans. But you believe that there was risk off ahead of these hearings, or you think it was risk off just because of the run, or something else?
Yeah, I think risk off really into earnings next week. And I think a lot of it is the reaction of Microsoft and Tesla, two key barometers to what you're seeing in terms of the run-up. So as you go into Amazon, Apple, and Facebook, and a lot of those names are risk off, although I believe that those are going to be strong numbers, and I do see those stocks higher. And in terms of the postponed hearing, like Dan talked about, it just kicks the can down the road. This continues to be a risk as the drum roll and the beltway, continues, especially in that beltway versus big tech battle, going forward.
I want to get to that battle and the risk in just a moment with Primack. But the one thing I heard you just say is you still think that big tech, the FANG stocks, you think are up an additional 30% from where they are today, 12 months from now. Explain that.
Our view is there's a lack of secular growth in the market. You look what's happened in FANG, stronger getting stronger. And ultimately, the fundamental stories continue, I think, to validate. And I think it's really a re-rating of tech. That's what continues to happen. I still think we're only in the 6th, 7th inning. Just to be clear,
how much of this is a multiple expansion story, and what is the upper limit on that multiple expansion versus a fundamental story?
It's a great question. I do think a lot of it's been a re-rating, but I think also in this COVID environment, cloud and e-commerce, streaming, a lot of these growth stories, they've been pulled forward by 2 years. And I think you're seeing the stocks react to that dynamic, and I think investors are chasing them. But I still believe there's room ahead, given what we're seeing.
Primack, so if you listen to the other Dan Ives, these companies are going to be bigger than ever 12 months from now, which is going to create even more, at least political pressure, maybe political will, I don't know, to break them up? Or do you think this is still just a lot of talking?
I still think it's a lot of talking, at least over the next 12 months. Right, Dan gave it 12 months. To get a big antitrust case together usually takes 2-3 years, and we won't be at that 2 or 3 year point by this time next year. I still think it's mostly talk, at least from Congress. What the DOJ might be doing, what the FTC might be doing is a little different. Remember, these four companies, if they continue to grow together, they're going to argue that they've got competition from one another.